What's up, everybody? We are the Anti Villains. I'm here with my co host, Martez and Aaron. Don't call him Aaron or he will get mad or he'll turn green, right? He'll turn green. Sorry, I messed it up. Welcome back to today's episode. Today, we are going over What If, episode 1 by Marvel on Disney Plus. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good, actually. Rearranged a couple of things. Still thinking about that Captain Carter episode.
Yep. Yeah,
It's a good
Captain
episode.
Carter.
It wasn't, you know, a spectacle like we're gonna get into later.
Hmm.
Especially if you read the What If books, it's gonna get way out there. But it was a
Hmm.
great episode, I think, to introduce people to the concept of something different. So
Hmm.
yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
Well, first off, let's go. Let's talk about the what if episodes first, like the what if series. Period. Like it's about the different timelines and how the watcher, quote unquote, is watching all these timelines are the or watching all these timelines go on. Right. So the first one was about Peggy Carter, right, in Captain America, and the small little decision that she made changed the whole timeline, like from beginning to end. Right. Um, So, and then that decision was instead of going outside like she did in Captain America to watch Steve Rogers go into the machine and become Captain America, she decided to stay in. And then um, I think for the first Captain America, didn't the guy leave out with her, or was he stuck in there still?
I think he stayed in there because he shot the doctor as the experiment was starting.
hmm
Right.
And her presence, she caught wind of the fact that he was there, and that's why
Right.
she hopped into action early, which kind of
Right.
set the chain of events off early. Because originally he just waited, and Steve was already in the chamber and everything before anything jumped off. So
Right.
uh, that's already something I like about this series is that they
Hmm.
show what the subtle butterfly effect is gonna be.
Hmm.
A simple decision to stay instead of leave
Yeah.
changed everything.
Yeah.
That's dope
Yeah.
already.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then so within that she tried to stop him, and he ended up, and then Steve Rogers didn't go through the process right this time. Steve Rogers decided to get out, and he got shot. Trying to help Peggy Carter. The whole place started burning down, and they was afraid that they were going to lose the experiment. So Peggy, well, first they asked Tony Stark to get in there. He was like, "No, I'm a scientist. I got to push the buttons. That's all I really do." And then so Peggy was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna take initiative. We're not. I don't know what made it so important to her to actually jump in, but she actually just jumped in, and she became, um, and they call her Captain
Carter.
Carter, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Not
her name.
Captain Britain,
No, she
right?
decided to jump in also because that was the only serum they had and the place was about to blow. So
Well, yeah,
someone had
yeah,
to get in there quick.
Yep, they
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
waste it, and it's you can tell because it was well written that there were other psychological reasons that she did it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, well they about to know that a woman can do this. This is
Mm-hmm.
my chance. It's
Mm-hmm.
bad circumstances, but this is also a golden opportunity for something bigger too. And
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
she took it, and dog,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
everything about Captain Carter is dope, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
like her costume,
Yeah.
the way she fight. She up there with Steve because she was
Mm-hmm.
already an agent, so she
Right.
already had a little bit of something, something behind her.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is dope, you know.
I
I
will
think.
say, I will
Oh,
say, I think she dropped more bodies than Steve,
She
too.
oh
certainly
yes,
did.
yeah. She was
Yeah.
definitely more aggressive than Steve with her fighting style, but also her decision making was more impulse decision making rather than calculated. If you look at all of her decision making, as far as like it was, Steve Rogers wanted to help, but it was more calculated. Like, okay, you tell me no, but I'm still gonna go. Peggy was like, no, let's go now. Like, I'm out of here. I am a general right now, so and now I tell everybody what to do, no matter who it is. She told off the American general,
Yeah. Who
to
was a lot
basically put
more
him in his place.
annoying in
Yeah.
this version because he's
Mm-hmm.
a chauvinist pig, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, you got to remember too. Back then, it was that was the norm back then,
I do
right?
like how they didn't shy away from that though, as far as
Hmm.
a storytelling device, because that time period, yeah, oh, you're just a
Hmm.
woman, which
Yeah,
Yeah.
she proved completely wrong, which is dope. But it's
yeah,
something that could have very easily gotten lost in the shuffle once she became a super soldier, but they
yeah,
didn't. So that was a
yeah.
wise decision to make.
The main thing before Buckingham got captured, Steve is Iron Man.
He
Oh,
was the new Iron
yes,
Man, the first Iron Man.
yeah, yeah. Steve was the first Iron Man. So instead of Steve being
With his
Captain America, he
Tesseract
was Iron
powered
Man.
Iron Man suit.
Yes, the Tesseract powered Iron Man suit.
I am so
Yeah,
tired of the Tesseract.
but my question is, if that's the case, um are they implying that Tony Stark didn't design the first Iron Man suit?
Yes, in
Yeah.
this version, because
Oh,
Howard always, remember, Tony uses inspiration of a lot of his work from his father. His father was a genius, and remember his second arc reactor he designed based on his father's design. So
mm-hmm,
he already had blueprints and stuff. He just never had a power source powerful enough to do it because of the limits of the technology back then. The Tesseract falls in his lap, instant power source,
right,
instant
right,
ability to do all these things. So it kind of jump started technology 50 years, you
mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
and so he made the first Iron Man suit, which was huge and bulky and very reminiscent of the Ironmonger, which makes sense
yes,
because the difference between Tony and his father was finesse.
yes, finesse, yeah, mm-hmm,
Tony got finesse, and Howard not so much.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna make a tank with this bitch.
yeah. And that's exactly what he did. He really just he made a huge tank that was impenetrable, quote unquote, and then he actually put the rockets on his back. He looked more like a metal rocket man more than an
Or Iron
Iron.
Giant.
Yeah,
Yes, or Iron
it
Giant.
was
Yeah,
it was
it was
Iron
kind of a
Giant
mix of the two.
reminiscent.
Or I like that they're cartoons because they can get extra aggressive, right? So they can do the cartoony style animations and fights and stuff like that. And people get hurt. Like you saw when Peggy Carter was going through and beating everybody, she beat guys and stacked them on top of each other. They laid on top of each other while they were getting beat. You know,
Senseless, beating
yeah,
senseless. Uh,
yeah.
Speaking of action set pieces, because the episode moves real quick, it's 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm,
It takes you back to the
mm-hmm,
old school, morning cartoons. So,
mm-hmm,
but the set pieces for the action, very smart decision, like you said, to make it animated.
mm-hmm,
The style I
mm-hmm,
like because it's very, very comic book
mm-hmm,
centric,
mm-hmm,
But the scene where her and Steve Iron Man,
mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
flying through the sky, taking guys out in the sky.
Yes.
Peggy's
Yeah.
hopping from plane to plane. Dope. I'd have loved to
Yes.
see that in live action. It was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's jumping off of him, flies through the cockpit of the plane, kills everybody in there because she's throwing
Yeah.
them off the plane. That was
Yeah.
sweet. So,
Yeah.
the action was not lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a good start so far, man.
Yeah. Then they got into the deeper story or the bigger part of the story, and then that's when Red Skull came in and decided to show his face, and he still did the same thing, go after the Tesseract, kill the guy that basically that was hiding the Tesseract. So none of that changed. Only thing that changed is that he lost the Tesseract earlier than he did before,
And he activated the portal.
and
Yep.
and then he activated the portal because of that, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
so, and that portal was basically Hydra's portal that they were working on that got stopped in the 50s beforehand because of Steve Rogers. But Red Skull, it seemed like Red Skull in this episode was kind of misled of this
Oh
ultimate
boy.
power, thinking that he was going to control it. But no, it ripped him apart and it backfired on him quickly. And Aaron kind of has a theory of who this actually is that came through that portal.
Marvel actually confirmed it. It's Shuma Gorath.
This.
Big implications. If he had came through that portal, oof.
Hmm.
Yep. All the multiverses would have been in bad shape. So I think we'll be seeing Shuma Gorath again in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I mean, we have to. It's so many because they got a lot of those Lovecraftian gods because they're gods at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite
Mm-hmm.
powerful and they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of ability beyond just being giant squid monsters. Just like the Lovecraft gods did, they can control the mind, which you
Mm-hmm.
kind of saw a little bit at the end when he was screeching. You know, the regular soldiers was losing their mind; they were going insane
Yeah.
because that's the type of things that they do,
Yeah.
and it's just so many big threats that are getting introduced back to back to back because you get Kang or Kang's variants, which that's going
Yes.
to be huge, and then now the many angled ones. It's time for that
Yeah.
already. Oh
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
no!
Yeah. But
Like
I think
Doctor
that's
Strange
that's
gonna have his hands full.
that's the point of this what if series is like, well, just because these small decisions happen, we're going to see bigger enemies because of that, right? And I think what's up, and let's get back to the episode. I mean, they actually had to fight off every tentacle that was coming through that portal, um, and every people were getting knocked off at least on Hydra side, on left and right. But before that actually happened, on the way there, they reintroduced the scene on the train, from Captain America. So when Captain America and Bucky and all of them was found out that, or they thought that Red Skull was on that train, they went back and reintroduced that part. But instead of Bucky falling off the train, which he got saved this time, Captain America decided, or Iron America decided to go in to
I like
to
that.
the train as a distraction and go into the front of the train. Didn't see anything but the train, but it was a trap,
It's a trap!
and ended up blowing up the train and then getting crushed by the train. So he ended up falling off with the train, and he was assumed or presumed dead. And by the way, Peggy and him has already basically fell in love at this point. So her heart was broken after that. But when she found him, she was relieved. Same thing with Bucky. Bucky found him; they were relieved. And so he ended up getting back into the suit, and they ended up charging the suit with the power of the building, right?
Hmm.
I believe so.
More
Was
or
it the
Yeah.
less,
power of the building?
more or less,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Which I find is hilarious because the whole building's power was enough to run it for like 5 minutes.
yes,
But
yeah,
the Tesseract, that's indefinite because Tesseract
yeah,
on Tesseract.
yes, yeah. It's a power source, right? So and then so they ended up getting fighting together to try to defeat the monster that was coming through the portal, but it wasn't enough. So Peggy decided to use a sword, and this is the crazy thing: is the sword part of her costume now, or is part of her arsenal?
I would like it to be,
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
because
No, it's not Barbara Arsenal. Not, but it should be like Tess said.
yeah,
aesthetically
because
I like it. It's gorgeous aesthetically. She's British
yeah, yeah,
and she's a knight essentially.
yeah, and
That's
it
dope to
makes
me. She
sense.
should
Yeah,
keep the sword. I think
yeah,
maybe even
and
get
it
a new one.
also makes her stronger too. The only thing is that it it would just change the dynamic of the Captain America or Captain Carter deal, because Captain America didn't like killing people. But if you have a sword, it's really hard to say if you're going to kill not going to kill somebody with a sword in your hand. You'll get what I'm saying? So that dynamic could definitely change when it comes to that. But anyway, yeah. So she ended up going and grabbing the sword and cutting off all the tentacles, and then she ended up pushing with the shield um, the monster back into the portal, but ended up sacrificing herself, going him with the portal. And Steve Rogers like, hey, you didn't need to do this. You know, you're going to be lost forever. And then she said, hey, just save me a dance. You know, it's the same thing like he said, like Captain America said before he went into the ice. So they basically their fate was inevitable. Their both of their fates was inevitable. So where they was going to sacrifice each other for the world, and ended up Peggy ended up being trapped in that portal until the Tesseract opened again, and it opened back in 2015 when um, it opened before for Loki, but Peggy ended up coming back 70 years later. again, and I think Steve Rogers was dead at
Yep.
this point. Yeah,
Probably.
so yeah, so she ended up missing that. Luckily, Captain America, when he came back, Peggy was still alive. She was just had dementia and was very old. So, but I think Peggy in our timeline went through way more than Captain America did because I don't. And that's another thing too. That's my question. How did Shield get made without Peggy Carter?
Steve Rogers.
So is that assumed that, or or do we know that?
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember because there was stuff on the walls. I thought I saw his face on there as one of the heads of Shield because it was the
Okay.
General, Peggy,
Mm-hmm.
and Howard Stark formed Shield. Those are the original three. You still had two
Right.
of the three, so if Steve wasn't there, it would still have been Howard and that General.
I know there's going to be sequels, but what do you guys think is going to happen in the future now? At least with this episode.
Well, for me, it was not bad. It was just
Mm-hmm.
okay. It was straight edged. They took the
Mm-hmm.
safe route with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things were highly, highly predictable. So I
Mm-hmm.
think they picked this one first to get people acquainted with the show.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can see it getting better from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of ease people into it, because it's a concept that um, a lot of fans don't resonate with. Nope, this is this. Math is math.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see no differences. So like, no, it's just a slight difference. It's still gonna be a lot of the similar elements, but um, like he said, it's I'll put your seatbelt on because
Mm-hmm.
it's we about to get way out there real soon. If I'm
Yeah.
correct, the next scheduled episode is the
T'Challa.
Guardians episode, T'Challa as Star Lord,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna take off because
Mm-hmm.
they're already hopping into galactic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
spacefaring, warriors, and that Guardians team looks completely different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm personally looking forward to episode 3, the murder mystery one, because I've
Mm-hmm.
been hearing rave reviews for that one. And certain Marvel characters get murdered out of nowhere in shocking ways. So I'm looking forward to seeing that third one.
Oh, I wonder who it is. That would hopping in the theory territory, but this would be a great way to introduce a newly acquired license. It's not really newly acquired anymore. If it's Deadpool doing the killing, that's a great way to
Oh
slide
yeah.
him in. It's a
Yes.
great way to
Yeah.
slide him into the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Because remember,
this
yeah. Because Deadpool, they do have a comic book series where Deadpool kills the Avengers, basically. So
everybody,
everybody, yeah,
including the
because
creator of the comic book, I might
Yep.
add.
yeah, yeah,
Deadpool kills the
Everybody.
universe.
yeah, Deadpool kills the universe. Yeah. So
Who's that?
I'm excited for and I know everybody is probably is the least favorite one. I think. Well, there's two of them I'm excited for. I really want to see the Spider-Man Doctor Strange one. Where I guess Spider-Man gets Doctor Strange's powers,
Hmm.
and the zombies one. I'm
Zombies.
actually excited about the zombies one because I just want to see how they're going to portray this one, and how they're going to and how the watchers are going to tell this story. Is you just going to say everybody turned to zombies and then everybody just fought, or everybody just bit each other's head off, or what? I don't know. So.
You got the most charismatic Owatu you could possibly pick. This guy
Mm-hmm,
drips charisma. Okay, I
mm-hmm.
call him Peoples because that's the first thing I ever seen him in with Shad. But um, he gonna turn it up. He gonna like so. Something devious was in the mist, and infection infected the hearts and minds of the heroes in this universe. It was very hard for me not to step in on this one. He gonna make it something sexy, so I'm looking
Right.
forward to. But zombies is I have I'm excited, but I'm also concerned because the zombie series is nothing to play with, and it is not one of them kind of things that is soft in any way. We
Right.
talking we talking Squad levels of destruction and death
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
horror,
mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
they're gonna have to turn it up because
Yeah.
they're zombies.
Yeah.
At the end,
Yeah.
they're zombies. At the end of the day, they keep their mind. That's something that a lot of folks might not know about the Marvel zombie series is they don't become mindless zombies. It's a disease that's so powerful It essentially turns even the strongest superheroes into zombies, and they have the degradation and the hunger, but they keep
Mm-hmm.
all their faculties and they keep all
Mm-hmm.
their powers. So it's
Mm-hmm.
horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
terrible,
it's
bro.
it's Marvel, like how Marvel's take on time travel is Marvel's take on zombies,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
and terrifying.
and
Mm-hmm.
remember, these are canon. Even though it's called What If, these are
Yes,
actual timelines in the MCU. So I'm thinking we might see that zombies universe again in Multiverse of Madness.
we could, we could,
Oh,
and remember too, everybody who's watching, these are actually stories too that actually went in the comic books, right?
mm-hmm.
They're not pulling them out of nowhere. These are actual stories that people have created within the comic books in the Marvel comic book universe. And like Aaron said, it is part of the timeline now because of what happened in the end of Loki with Kang dying. All those multi or those timelines that was going on, and now it's a multiverse. That is why all of these things are happening. And this is why the series is here. So it's not just what if. It is this is what's happening in this timeline. So
Consequences.
yes, the
Yep.
consequences of the timeline splitting. All right.
I will say one of the things I'm disappointed and happy about. It was originally a 10 episode order, but they got the go ahead for season 2, so they knocked it down to 9, and the 10th episode will be season 2, episode 1. They announced.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's cool. At least we got a little bit more to watch this time. I mean, yeah, they're only 30 minutes, not an
This
hour, but
show, the
yeah.
thing is, this show could go as long as it wants
Mm-hmm.
because the What If series is vast and long, and the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities are literally endless. I
Yeah.
remember the first What If comic I ever read, just for a little background on the type of things that they do, was What If the Scarlet Spider killed Spider Man? It's the first What
Mm.
If book I ever read. And what happened was Spider Man had been mentally controlled by some villain. I think it was the Jackal. And he was set out to kill his family and, Aunt May, Mary Jane, and all that. And the Scarlet Spider, we all know Ben Riley is a Spider Man clone. They were
Mm-hmm.
friends in this universe. They were good friends, and they used to work together. He was like, Ben, I need you to kill me. I can't control myself. I'm about to kill my family. I need you to stop me. And Ben's like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I supposed to do? He was like, you're going to have to take me out. And Ben managed to overcome Spider-Man and took his life over. And
Mm-hmm.
he became Spider-Man. He got a different suit, but he was still a Spider-Man suit. And he let Mary Jane and May think he was Peter. And I'm like, damn, this was really interesting. This is the first What If
Mm-hmm.
comic I read when I was a kid. So these are
Mm-hmm.
the kind of stories you can get just from slight variances in a story that may have already happened. What if she stayed in the room, changed everything?
Right.
It's something as simple as what if Doctor Strange hands got better? you
Right.
know, what if his hands
Yeah.
got better before
Right.
everything jumped off and he
Right.
left the sanctum?
Right.
Like, oh, my
Right.
hands is good. Bye, deuces.
Right. What
These are the kind of
what
stories you
if
can get.
what if Captain America got uh what if Captain America went on Hydrocide when they defected inside the shield?
I wonder if they're gonna
You know
do
what I
that.
mean? I wonder if they're actually going to do that because
Mm.
that's in the comic books.
It's
It is
ballsy.
in the comic books that he did become a Hydra member, but
Okay. Okay.
there's so many different ways that they could turn this around. I think they are going to touch on Black Panther too and Killmonger. I think it was what if Killmonger
Oh, it's what
was
if
it
Killmonger saved Tony Stark in the first
right?
Iron Man movie.
So thank you guys for watching. If you guys like what you guys see here, please like and subscribe if you can. Comment if you got any questions. We are live in the comments, so we will respond back to you. And next week we'll be back with another episode of What If, going over episode 2. But until then, we're the anti-villains. See you later.